The universe is governed by the laws of thermodynamics. The second law states that every energy transfer or transformation will increase the disorder of a system. Entropy is a measure of disorder. Although the universe spontaneously strives towards disorder, it is possible for entropy to decrease locally with the input of energy. A process is spontaneous or energetically favorable, meaning it can occur on its own if it moves towards an equilibrium state and thereby increases the entropy of the universe. One of the defining features of life is that a metabolism as a whole is never at an equilibrium state. So how is a cell's organized complexity maintained if it seems to contradict the second law of thermodynamics? Since living organisms are highly organized and structured, they need an energy input to maintain their far from equilibrium state. An organism's metabolism transforms energy and uses chemical energy to maintain their state of low entropy. All of life shares the same basic constituents: RNA and DNA, saccharides, proteins, and lipids. Genetic information is stored in helical DNA, which consists of a double-stranded sugar-phosphate backbone and 4 nitrogen bases: adenosine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine. RNA has a similar single-stranded structure, but uracil replaces thymine and the sugar is oxygenated. The sugar backbone is an example of a saccharide, a carbohydrate which serves as a fuel and building material in cells. In general, the organism breaks down these saccharides into useful energy through enzymes, biological catalysts made of proteins. Proteins are coded for by the nitrogen bases in DNA and have numerous other uses within cells, such as structure and growth. They are made up of amino acid chains, where the code for each amino acid is the same in all living organisms. Finally, lipids are fatty hydrophobic molecules which have various uses depending on their structures. Triglycerols are an important energy source, and phospholipids can naturally form micelles or lipid bilayers thanks to the hydrophilic heads and hydrophobic tails. Cell membranes are made up from these phospholipid bilayers. All life is considered to be related by descent, since all life is cellular, has DNA as a hereditary chemical, thus uses a universal genetic code, and has ATP as universal currency of energy. But if we look at life around us, we can recognize an incredible diversity. How did life diversify? The DNA copying mechanism is not flawless, thus there exists variation. Organisms also produce more offspring than can survive, and variants are not equally successful. They contribute unequally to the next generation, hence species evolve. Relationships via descent with modification are often represented in the tree of life. We can think of the tree as a metaphor for evolution, showing how all living things relate to each other in this evolutionary history. At the stem, thus at the base of the tree of life, is the most recent living organism to which we can all relate, our last universal common ancestor, Luca. From Luca, all life on Earth evolved and diversified, like the trunk of a tree that splits continually into more and more branches. With each new branch, a new species emerges through diversification. We ourselves are just tiny little twiglets on this tree of life, somewhere on the periphery of the tree. All known living organisms can be divided into 3 domains: bacteria, archaea, and eukaryota. Archaea and bacteria are prokaryotic domains consisting of single-celled organisms. Bacteria contain most of the known prokaryotes, including those closely related to mitochondria and chloroplasts. Archaea consists of a diverse group of prokaryotic organisms that inhabit a diverse range of environments. Eukaryotes are organisms that possess a clearly defined nucleus, surrounded by a nuclear membrane. Some eukaryotes are multicellular. Plants, animals, and we ourselves are part of it. In this image, branch lengths are proportional to the amount of genetic modification in each lineage. Phylogenies based on RNA suggest that eukaryotes are more closely related to archaea. We have explored how thermodynamics govern the universe and all living systems, established the importance of key chemical compounds for life, and have shown how all living organisms are related in the tree of life. But how the initial organization associated with the simplest living system came about originally, is a much tougher issue. It is not yet known how Luca came into being. The troublesome question still in search of an answer is, how did a system capable of evolving come about in the first place? This remains to be explored.